I began sewing as a little girl, about 10. I moved forward to a very, very good home economics teacher in high school. Then I dropped it, became a business major, picked it up again as an elective, and I said, this is where I should be. And so I went through a master's program, taught in a university for 4 or 5 years, maybe longer than that actually. And then one day I found university work a little confining. I walked in the BERNINA booth at the Houston Quilt Show, and I said, do you have a faculty? And they were putting together a faculty in the first University of America combo where BERNINA joined East and West together to make one company. And I was in that first group of 10 women. I learned about BERNINA because lingerie sewing was a hot number back in the 80s, and I was sewing on a low-end, different brand of machine that would not handle that fabric. And I made a comment at home. I said, I wish I had a machine that would sew this. My husband went to a store that was selling BERNINA, and I came home from work one afternoon, and the machine was sitting in the kitchen. And that was my beginning. I have a 730 of the first 700 series that I still enjoy looking at and remembering how much I enjoyed it. I think BERNINA is absolutely the most wonderful opportunity that I've ever had, simply because I joined the company years ago. The sorority of connections with other creative souls has just been wonderful. BERNINA pushed me and stretched me because we were learning computer machines when they first came out to the incredible speed and technology that the company offers to the consumer now. I was in that first group of women that taught early computer sewing. We stretched and stretched. I was one of the first writers of a BERNINA book. I wrote the Sashiko book. And Sashiko was working with the thicker threads and the larger-eyed needles. And that was all new back 25 years ago, 30 years ago. And now it's taken for granted, and I was on the ground floor, and I love every minute of it. BERNINA represents to me a history of women. I love the technology story of BERNINA, where it began in the 1800s and moved fast forward. As I interact with women throughout every teaching experience, every seminar experience, every small coffee clutch, I love hearing their stories of why they are creative with a sewing machine. And I love sharing the story of how they can be more creative when they use a BERNINA. I enjoy staying connected to BERNINA. I enjoy the friendships with creative women. I enjoy the technology advancements and learning what it's all about, and staying on top of what's happening in the sewing world. I began developing a strong interest in thread that moved me past the traditional garment sewing when we developed the Sashiko book. And I became very aware of the thicker threads. From the thicker threads, then I became aware of all the different weights of shiny threads and rayon threads, metallics, etc. And I was not afraid of the machine, and I was not afraid of what the needle and the thread could do together. So it was an adventure for me to find out myself and then take it to the consumer and show them. And so that's still what I do. As I work in the marketplace today, I enjoy showing women the potential of threads with their machines and changing tensions and not being afraid to adapt to creative techniques from the traditional expectations of the machine. Well, BERNINA has always done its homework. BERNINA is always a leader. It troubleshoots, it gives the woman the opportunity to play with the machine, and it bounces right back from to the traditional uses of the machine. And I've been able to let women explore the full potential of changing tensions, working with different sewing feet. The technology of the sewing foot is just phenomenal. And once women realize the tools that they have, it's Johnny bar the door. They can go where they want to.